Hello, and welcome to another episode of Letters from Camp. Today we are pleased to be joined by longtime staff member Jacob Rodger. Jacob, how are you today?
I'm doing well yourself. Thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely. Um, so we always like to kind of jump right in, kind of get your camp story, kind of find out, when you first came, what years you were a camper, where you worked on staff, what areas you worked in, kind of your whole camp career here. So why don't you take us through that?
Sure. So my first year as a camper was my troop's first year at Camp Onoxit. It was '08, and which was I think Mike Penny or Matt Ford's, not you, Matt Ford's last year as camp director. Um, and I just from that first year, I just like absolutely fell in love with camp. And then I remember the next year when summer came around, I had that conversation with my parents, like I want to go back to camp, but at the time it wasn't really in the cards financially. And then we realized that we talked to the scoutmaster of my troop and realized that camperships existed, and so I was able to return to camp for the next 2 years through camperships, which had a huge impact on me personally. So then I was a camper through 2012, and then 2013 was my CIT year, and then I joined staff 2014 in shooting sports and stayed in shooting sports for a while, and then kind of moved around. I went to admin for a year to kind of help out as auxiliary, and then I was in Provo for the last significant amount of time.
Awesome.
Yeah,
And that was your troop was 76 Andover,
76 and over the Super Ducks.
who have the distinction of us giving the longest tour to a prospective troop, I think, ever. So
I don't think I've heard that story, but that sounds about right.
yeah, yep, they wanted to see everything, and
Everything.
even I can just remember picture in my mind uh, the scoutmaster and his son. I don't remember their first names.
Yeah, it's Don and Craig Milligan.
Don and Craig. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So they were about 75 yards behind Apache, just looking in the woods behind the site, and I'm like, okay, what are we doing here? But
Yep.
yeah, it was great.
They like their
Oh,
details.
yep. Uh, all right. So, you've worked in a number of different areas, like you said, shooting sports, Provo, a couple of other ones. What's been your favorite, and why?
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, so throughout the years in like junior staff, I ended up doing a week, at least like a week stint at most areas, except for like Waterfront and Cope. Um, I mean, my favorite has got to be Provo. Um, it's so different than every other position at camp that I've seen or like worked as. And the interactions and the time you spend with the campers, just like it feels a lot more personal, and you get to really help them like develop and like plan out their week more. And then there's also like the really cool fact, like I was in Provo for 4 years, and so many of the kids that me and Maggie had going through Provo are on staff now, and so we get to like watch that full development. That's really, really cool.
Yeah, there's definitely a high correlation between Provo campers and prospective
Oh,
staff
for
members.
for sure, yeah.
Yeah. What's something people maybe who've never done Provo might not realize about it, or something that maybe they don't understand happens with Provo?
I think at least from like what I've seen, a lot of people that go into Provo are like slightly more hesitant because they don't necessarily know anyone or aren't going with anyone from the troop, and they're going because they can't go the week that their troop went. And honestly, it's kind of a little bit more liberating that way because you get to experience a different troop culture within Provo itself, and then you get to make new friends that aren't from your troop. And from what I've seen, like a lot of those friends stick around long term, and it's going to leave a more lasting impression. So that's
Um,
cool.
yeah, that's awesome. So you've been at camp for a long time. What have you noticed kind of change in your camp career and kind of change over time? What do you think?
That's a hard one. I mean, obviously, we have like the infrastructure changes. One of the big things is like the handicraft. We have the new handicraft pavilion, and I always liked the old one, and it was great. But like the new one's awesome too. And now we get the boathouse, which provides like such a great space.
Mhm.
But like besides infrastructure, I was thinking like it's honestly the staff. Like the staff changes so much every year, but somehow it just like it feels better like every year. I remember when I think I was 17 and I realized like a lot of the senior staff that I grew up with were like leaving or like transitioning out, and I thought camp was like never going to be the same. But then like we came the next year and it was like even better. Like it's just, and like Danny during staff week during his trainings, he always says like this is the best staff I've ever worked with. And at first I was like, yeah, he's saying that, but like it honestly it feels just like more like a community every year.
Mhm. Yeah, I also always liked when he would say, whatever year it was, this is the 2025 staff, and it's never going to be the same.
Never, yeah,
Yes. Definitely each staff kind of takes on a unique kind of personality too.
definitely.
Yeah.
And I'm excited this year. My nephew Joe is actually going to be his first year on staff this year. He was a CIT last year, so I'm excited to see how that plays out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Anything else you're excited for this summer?
Um, I mean, I'm excited to. I'm moving into communications, and I'm doing Weeblo's residency this year. So I'm excited to kind of develop that Weeblo's program throughout the summer. And as I just mentioned, I'm excited to see kind of how Joe finds his way to fit into staff in his own way.
Some, yeah, it's getting close now. Not long.
Yeah, 16 days, but who's counting?
Who's counting? All right. So moving into our lightning round. What is your favorite camp song?
My favorite camp song to lead is "Wishy Washer Woman." I think it's a lot of fun and has some fun energy behind it. I think my favorite song, like camp song that other people do, is Gary Owen. Personally, I haven't been able to feel like I've mastered that song, but when other people like sell that song, like I get goosebumps like when they deliver the last line. I love it.
A lot of verses.
A lot of verses, yeah.
Yeah. Uh, what is your favorite camp skit?
Favorite camp skit would have to be Bear Grylls. Now that is way back when I was a camper. Adam Morse did his Bear Grylls impression and was running around the stage eating grass for calories. I don't know why,
Awesome.
but that one it left a lasting impression on
Yeah. Now that you say that, that instantly pops in my mind. Him
me. Yeah,
eating grass. Yeah.
yeah. Need more calories.
What is your favorite meal at camp?
Favorite meal's got to be chicken patties. I love the just classic simple chicken patties for lunch.
Good one. What's your record for how many you've eaten in one sitting?
I think three.
Okay. Yeah.
I
You
mean,
don't want to push it much
the
beyond
thing
that.
is, you got to have like the empty table or like people who are vegetarian at the table to get like the extra patties typically.
Mhm.
So, but yeah,
Very true. What is your favorite place in camp?
I mean, everyone's got to say chapel. Chapel's a great place to be. Um, I love the nature den and like the office of the nature den. It's just so central to camp, and everyone goes through the nature den. Um, one really cool place that I like. It's not really a place as much as an aspect, but in the administration building, the ceiling of the administration building, if you ever looked at it, it's covered in like coffee mug stains and footprints, like shoes and no shoes from like whenever they were staining the wood and putting up the ceiling, they must have been walking on it. And I just
Mhm.
think it's so cool, all the character it has in it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, and is there anyone, who was a role model to you or a mentor that you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah. It's hard not to give a shout out to Danny. He's been director for as long as I can remember. Um, and the community that he's built and just the general feeling of camp, just in my opinion, it has to be credited to him. And so I think he's had a huge impact. On a more personal level, Adam Morse, he was the first staff member to take me under his wing. I was very quiet when I came into camp, and Adam kind of recognized that when he took me into shooting sports as junior staff, and I kind of slowly got more comfortable, and he really mentored me along the way for the first few years.
That's awesome. Yeah, I definitely credit Adam. CIT director is not an easy job, and to do it for so long, it's just
Yeah,
like created a whole generation of staff that kind of started with him. So
yeah,
it's awesome. And obviously, a lot of people mention Danny, and I think he is a big part of the secret sauce.
for sure.
And,
Yeah.
but any kind of final closing thoughts or comments as you kind of get ready and excited for the summer?
Not particularly. I'm just excited to see what this summer brings.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you, Jacob, for joining us. And to all of our viewers, make sure you tune in each and every month for Letters from Camp. And thank you for your time.
Of course, thanks for having me.